Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and today we got a lot of content coming your way. First up is the first of two movies. That's right, a double feature of New Release Saturday. As I'm sure you guys remember, last week was the first night of WrestleMania. We had NXT Stand and Deliver watch along coverage. We had WrestleMania Night 1 watch along coverage. So New Release Saturday for last week got pushed back to this week, giving you a double feature. First up is the Netflix original movie, The Magician's Elephant, featuring the voice talents of Noah Jupe, Mandy Patinkin, Benedict Wong, Pixie Davies, Brian Tyree Henry, and Miranda Richardson. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, today is a very busy day. We've got a double dose of New Release Saturday, a double feature, if you will. And then, of course, we have later on this evening the Saturday night shenanigans that are open mic night. But we'll get to all that later on in the shows. Right now, let's talk about The Magician's Elephant. And as our movie opens, we meet an orphan boy named Peter, who lives in the town of Baltese with his guardian, an old soldier named Vilna Lutz. One day, Vilna gives Peter a gold coin in order to go into the market and buy dinner for the evening. However, when Peter spots a fortune teller's tent, he gets curious. Peter pays the fortune teller the one gold coin in order to be able to ask the fortune teller just one question. The fortune teller begins to tell Peter all about his life, his family, and his sister, who is presumed to be dead. Peter then asks his one question: how do I find her? And he's told to follow the elephant. When he returns home, Vilna is visibly upset due to the fact that Peter did not buy any food for dinner that evening. Meanwhile, a magician performs in town and ends up unleashing an elephant that begins to run rampant through the town, accidentally putting Madame Levon into a wheelchair. When Peter goes to market the next day, he discovers that the fortune teller's tent is gone, and he begins to hear townspeople discussing an elephant. Peter then begins to search the town in an attempt to find both the elephant and, more importantly, his sister. Peter ends up at the royal castle of Baltese, where the elephant is being kept, shackled after being caught by the town soldiers. The elephant becomes agitated when some paint that was used to make the elephant pretty and presentable begins to get into its eyes and irritates it. But Peter is able to calm it down and care for it. So, in order to get the Countess to release the elephant, Peter is forced to complete 3 seemingly impossible tasks. All the while, the townspeople try to discourage him. The first task is a challenge to fight the best soldier of the Countess's army, whom Peter is able to defeat via compassion by showing him an old children's book that takes the soldier back in time. The next challenge is to fly, which Peter is able to successfully do via a parachute. Lastly, he is challenged into making the Countess laugh, something that she has not done since her brother died in the war. While all this is going on, we learn that when Vilna was given Peter, he was offered Peter's newborn baby sister, but he turned it away because he didn't know how to care for a newborn. Instead, the newborn baby was left in care of the nurse, who was supposed to meet up with Vilna at a specific place and time. But when Baltiz was attacked in the war, they thought that she and the baby were dead. However, the young baby was raised by the nurse and named Adele over the years, just as Peter was raised by Vilna. Peter ends up being successful and making the Countess laugh, but he decides that he'd rather free the elephant so that it can return to its family rather than use it for selfish means and help himself. Luckily for Peter, the nurse and his sister just happened to be in the castle as they wanted to see if the boy could complete the impossible task. Vilna recognizes the nurse and is able to reunite Peter with his long-lost sister, Adele. The siblings reunite, and along with Vilna, the nurse, and Peter's neighbor friends, Leo and Gloria, they form a family, and our movie comes to its end. If I'm being honest with you guys, the only reason I chose this movie to review, there's two reasons. Number one, it was a Netflix original, and I felt like it was going to be very easy to watch, review, and get out there to the masses without having to spend money in theaters to see a new movie, because there's so many movies coming out that I really want to see. So the cost effectiveness of this movie was one reason. The other was the voice cast, primarily Benedict Wong and Mandy Patinkin. Benedict Wong, of course, from the MCU, from the Doctor Strange franchise, he is Wong. And then Mandy Patinkin, to me, will always be Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride. He's done many other things since then. Hell, he was in a Muppet movie. He was in Elmo from Grouchland. But he will always be, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. So he'll always be to me. So being able to see this animated movie with them in the voice cast intrigued me. Those were the only reasons why I watched this. I must say, though, for the most part, I was entertained. There were some parts where I felt like the story dragged, and it needed to pick up the pace just a little bit. But other than that, I was more or less thoroughly entertained by this movie and the story. There were some components of it that felt very tangled to me, in the fact that the nurse didn't really want to let Adele out into the city, much like how Mother Gothel tried to keep Rapunzel confined in her tower and never let her go out and explore the city and see the lights that just magically appeared every year on her birthday. You know, the nurse kind of kept Adele locked up, not in an evil way or a vindictive way, the way Mother Gothel does, but she just didn't feel like Adele going out into the greater world was good for her. But by doing so, she was able to reunite with her brother. So it was good after all. So there's a few components there that reminded me of that. And then, like I said, the story itself was just very simple. You know, a boy on his journey to find something. It's a lot of adventure movies. You know, he just wants to find his sister. He knows his sister exists. He held her. He has visions of this, but he's been told all his life that she's dead. And he knows that's not true. So it's about the journey to find her while proving everyone else wrong. And it was a fun little movie for me. Everybody out there, if you subscribe to Netflix, and I know that there's a ton of you that do, and if you got kids, maybe give it a watch. Let me know if you guys enjoy it. For me, when it comes to this film, The Magician's Elephant, I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I feel like if it had moved a little bit quicker paced in some of the areas, maybe a scene or two had been cut, shortened, whatever, it might have earned a 4-star or even a 4.5 star, because I did enjoy it. But like I said, there's just quite a few parts that I felt really slowed the pace of the movie down. And especially between the second task and the third task that he had to complete. I feel like there was a lot of time spent there for exposition and backstory when we could have just moved the process along just a little bit. But for those of you that have seen The Magician's Elephant on Netflix, what did you think? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. And let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And like I said, today is an action-packed day, so make sure you tune in at the top of the half hour. Right here to the Casa D18 Studios channel for another new release Saturday edition of Renegades Reviews. And we're going to be taking a look at one of the final films of the DCEU franchise, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, starring Zachary Levi, Asher Angel, Jack Dylan Grazer, Rachel Zegler, Grace Caroline Curry, Megan Good, Faith Herman, Lucy Liu, Helen Mirren, Digimon Ansu, Marta Milans, Cooper Andrews, and Gal Gadot. But it doesn't end there, folks. Later on this evening, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media, will bring you once again our Saturday night shenanigans that are Open Mic Night. Myself, the Simple Man Noah Foster will both be there for the regulars, and then we'll be joined by special guest panelists Statboy Mike and Big Baller G to discuss all the latest news of the week in professional wrestling. And if you've been tuning in, you know there's a lot of news to talk about. But then, tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, it'll be time once again to step into the War Zone, the weekly acquisition report, the show where I, the Renegade, show you, the viewers, the latest additions to my ever-growing movie library. This week, a hodgepodge of stuff that I picked up at various places. You don't want to miss out on any of that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, on the Jeff Meacham Network, across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media. We've got another new release Saturday movie review coming up at the top of the half hour. We've got Open Mic Night coming up later on this evening, and the War Zone tomorrow, plus 3 more weeks of movies that star musicians. People like the Ramones, Dolly Parton, Prince, Kid and Play, Eminem, Cher, Christina Aguilera, and so many others. Don't want to miss out. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE watch-along coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of animated stories, fans of The Magician's Elephant, fans of Mandy Patinkin or Benedict Wong. Anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content in this video, share it with them. It's the only way we're going to keep my visibility in YouTube's algorithms now that I am a monetized channel. Thank you once again to everybody out there who joined me, tuned in today, and that helped make that possible so that I can now make money on my hard work and my dedication. It means so much more to me than you guys will ever know. And I will see you guys next time.